Yo guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be going over the top psychological traps in Forex trading and how to avoid them. And if you guys are finding it hard to find consistency in the markets, make sure to watch this video to the end as this could massively help you. Alright guys, so going straight into it, we have our 4 psychological traps up here. These are the 4 that I've picked that mainly are a big factor, potentially in my own trading career in the past, and also is something that I see in a lot of other traders. Diving into the first one, I would say comparison is probably one of the biggest ones actually, because so many people look at other people and be like, oh, maybe I'm not doing as good as them, or I'm not winning as big risk reward, or I'm not taking as good trades, or everything. Okay, so I think the thing is, this is the big part of trading that you need to get over as a hurdle, because if you keep comparing yourself, you're not actually focusing on yourself. Okay, so as I always say, comparison is probably the biggest killer of joy. You got to keep focusing on your own journey. I mean, you're like, oh, why isn't this happening to me? And you know why this isn't happening to you is because you're on day 1 and they're on day 100. You got to understand that people are on different journeys and different paths. People learn things better than others, quicker than others, and sometimes you're not the same as them. But if you keep focusing on this, you're not going to be able to fully focus on your own journey. So if you can manage to have a healthy relationship between content creators, for example, or other traders, and understanding that you're both on your different path and not comparing yourself, I think that's a good direction for success with your psychology. And the thing is, as well, is that just because someone's saying something and you're comparing yourself to them, does it mean it's true? Does it mean they're actually legitimate? You know, you don't know, okay? Just make sure you're focusing on your own journey, because at the end of the day, just because they're a bit further ahead doesn't mean you can't do it. And I believe in you. You guys can all do it, but just keep focusing on your own journey and you'll get there. Okay, guys, so the next psychological trap is loss aversion. Going into loss aversion is basically when people are too scared to take a loss. And sometimes they'll let their losses run more than a win, for example. They're too scared to take the loss. And this is so dangerous in trading, okay? So especially when you're trying to focus on your risk reward, etc. How can you be a profitable trader if you're losing more because you're scared of losing, and also not letting your winners run more than the scarce of losing? You got to understand in a way that for your probabilities to play out and your ratios, you have to be emotionless, okay? So you can't be having any of this, oh, I'm too scared to lose. Losing's inevitable in trading, and if you can't handle that, you know, I think you need to work on your psychological skills a bit and understand that probabilities is the biggest part to play in trading. You're not going to have 100% strategy. You got to go through hard times. You got to go through times of just losing naturally, okay? And that's the only way that you're going to consistently develop profits in the market without being too caught up in your losses, too attracted to your losses, you know, focusing on them too much. You've got to take them on the chin. That's just a part of your natural trading strategy. Every trading strategy has losses. You've got to understand that losses are natural in trading strategies. You just got to learn to ride the wave out and continue trading. But the problem is, if you're letting these winners go to their normal TP, or even cutting them short because you're too scared of losing. Even if you're cutting your TP short because you're too scared of losing, but you're letting your losers run, the thing is, the risk reward isn't playing out. Your losses are bigger than your wins. You're going to be overall losing. You know, it's just simple risk reward. You're not going to be winning, okay? So that is a big thing you need to focus on. And how can you do that, for example, okay? Best idea is to understand that your probabilities are to play. So I think the best idea is probably find a set risk, okay? Get a set risk together. Find out your average risk reward potentially that you can target. And I'm not saying just do 1 to 2 every time. Some people like to do that, but also I'm saying, like, say on average maybe it's a 1 to 2. Okay, so target that sort of range, maybe 1 to 2, 1 to 3, if that's your average range. If you backtest and work it out, then that's a confluence you sort of have in your brain that you can understand that, look, the probability is high that this is hit. If it turns into a loss, it's a loss. But everything's systematic, and you just got to let it be, okay? And I think once you get through that hurdle of making the change, it is probably a lot easier to do it again and again and again. But the thing is, taking that leap is scary. But this is quite a big factor that people have in their trading journeys. They're too scared of losing. But you got to understand that losses are inevitable. You can't do anything about it. Get your system in play and you'll be fine. Okay, just trust in the strategy, trust in the statistics that you've got set out. You know, you've been backtesting for a reason, you've done all this data collection for a reason. Got to trust it and play with it. Okay, so the next one is emotional trading. So say, for example, that trading in an irrational way, maybe because something happened in your life, or maybe because you're too upset about losses. You know, this is a very big factor in some people's trading journeys. You know, they are getting too caught up in their losses, or they're having outsider issues. But you've got to understand, when you're trading, you need to be in that zone. You can't be having anything affect you. You can't have any losses. You can't have any wins, overconfidence, underconfidence. You don't want any of these factors tackling your psychology, because otherwise you're going to be making irrational moves and you're not going to be dialed in. Okay, so what I recommend when you're potentially having an emotional day, or you know you have an emotional moment, or things are going on, I recommend that you maybe take a step back, or maybe lower your risk, etc., or be very more cautious. Okay, I'm not saying don't trade. You got to understand that sometimes maybe it is right not to trade. It depends on the severity of the circumstances, but emotionally it can badly affect you, you know, and if you continually get affected by emotions, it's only going to keep rolling down the hill and keeps up picking more mess. Okay, so best idea is get dialed in the morning, wake up, maybe document how you're feeling, and sort of compare it to your last trade. So after amount of time, you'll sort of develop ideal emotional day. Obviously, we're not ideally work like a robot, but if you can find ways to maybe become more resilient to the emotional struggles in trading, that's the best idea. So personally, I went for stoicism. I researched a lot into stoicism, the fact of you can't control what happens, only your emotions and how you react to them. So that's my best tip, is probably look into stoicism. I love stoicism myself, and stoicism helped me a lot, but you got to understand that if you're emotionally trading, this is going to massively affect your trading. But not only if this is affecting your trading, this could mean that your backtesting results are potentially different to your live trading results. Okay, so there's a conflict of interest here. Might be why you're not profitable, or not being consistent, or having maybe bigger losses than your wins. You got to be very, very in touch with your emotional factors, and you've got to be very observant of everything that's going on, and you've got to understand, look, okay, today maybe I'm not feeling too great, I'm going to take a step back, or today I need to be locked in, I need to understand that whatever happens. Another good tip is having a trading plan, so everything's lined out. Can't really do much between the lines, you know, everything's very to the T. You know, you got everything dotted out. You got, okay, I'll enter here, got my risk reward set, I'm going to place a stop loss, going to place a TP, and I'm going to just let it be. Okay, so you got to understand that, look, I've done everything right as a trader. You know, my back testing has said this is right. But if you're running that sort of robotic algorithm in your own brain, at the fact like, oh, do I enter here? No. Or do I enter here with a larger stop loss, etc.? You know, you've got to understand and ask these questions. So that's why it's good to have a trading plan, so you can sort of stick to the guidelines in the trading plan. And the last one is sheep behavior, which is a very big thing that people don't talk about a lot in the trading industry. Is psychologically, say you have someone in a gold long, okay, and I'm gold shorting. You've got to understand that just because they're doing something different doesn't mean they're right and you're wrong. This could be a really big psychological trap that's causing you to account for more losses than you need to, because maybe you're closing early or closing wins early. That's actually affecting your overall win rate or risk reward, etc. So for example, you know, sheeps, they like to follow each other. So just because you see a trader who's got a Lamborghini doesn't mean you have to close out or take this position. So you've got to be rational in regards to understanding that I'm doing what I'm doing and they can do what they're doing. Don't let them affect your own trading, okay? Just focus on your own thing, focus with your own strategy, follow all your rules, everything you got written down in that trading strategy, and everything that you got written down emotionally. You know, look, am I in check? Am I everything? Everything's fine. You don't need to be worrying about what other people are doing and letting them affect you, okay? And it goes back to comparison, you know, comparing people and maybe making decisions off of comparison, okay? That's not good enough. You shouldn't be doing that, because you need to believe in yourself, okay? Just because someone else is doing something doesn't mean that they're doing it right and you're doing it wrong. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video of our psychological traps and it will help you in your trading journey. Make sure that you take note of every point, because I do believe this can positively impact your trading. Thank you for watching the video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.